Having worked in different industries over time, I've seen many people feeling really unhappy at work, even desperate. And there is, each time it struck me how there is this notion, this underlying notion of inevitability. It's like, this is a necessary pain to go through. Maybe there are some better jobs, some less, some worse jobs, and a better job would be having some compensation, some more advantages, like being paid more money, having a little more holiday, having less work, maybe whatever advantage you value. But this is still, even if there are advantages, this is still a necessary pain to go through. And for many people I've met, it's like, unless in their head, unless they belong to a very small fraction of the population who actually is able to do whatever they please, or they have some work that is more fun, but this is a very small fraction. Otherwise, they consider that this is normal to suffer at work. So let's challenge that belief, because why would it be normal to suffer? We actually consider, so there are good jobs, there are bad jobs. So if you have a good job, well, you shouldn't be complaining. But good job according to what? Actually, people seem to lack a clear vision for their life. At least a clear vision that is not based on other people's standards, that is not based on society standards, that is not only based on what the market wants. And if you don't have a clear vision, you're doomed to do whatever life takes you. And this, I always think of this example of the colleague of mine. He worked indirectly for the European Commission, and he worked in a legal field. And he was really unhappy at work, and he told me how drained he was, and how his life actually lost its meaning to him. But he was very well paid, and he considered that it was unreasonable to leave that job, even if he thought sometimes about ending his life. So I'm wondering, how unreasonable is it to actually feel drained every day? When you come home, you feel drained, you feel like life lost its meaning, and you spend, let's imagine you have a career of 45 years, and you work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and you have, let's say, 46 weeks in a year. So it means you're going to work more than 83, almost 83,000 hours, which is the equivalent of 15 years. So how reasonable is it? Is it worth it to spend 15 years of your life being drained? Have you thought about the impact on your health, on people around you, on your relationships, on the other choice you make in your life, on your happiness level? So if you take a random day and you come home really drained, how good do you think will be your decisions? So let's forget our idea of a good job according to society standards. Because if you feel drained when you come home and you keep telling yourself that you have a good job and that you shouldn't be quitting, I'm not saying you should be quitting right away, but if you keep telling that, it's like gaslighting yourself. And I'm not saying you should be quitting right away. That's not the point. But the point is that when I talk about life purpose, the underlying premise is that we all have, each of us, each human being has something very unique to offer. You have a very unique set of experiences. You're in you born in a certain time in history, and the set of experiences that you have, the passions that you have, the combination of passions that you have, the gifts that you have, all makes you very unique, and no one ever had that in history, and no one will ever have that later. So that's the underlying premise. And there are ways to get closer to the life purpose, and there are ways to get further from the life purpose. And as close as you get, if you get closer and closer, you will feel better and better. So it's normal. Just stop telling yourself that if you have a good job, you should feel happy. No, it's normal to be suffering. Take Maslow's pyramid. You will see that this is a need that is not actualizing the actualizing needs. This is a need that is not satisfied, and this is normal that you will be suffering if you're not at all aligned with your life purpose. So one thing that I can suggest in the next 3 weeks is that you start some new activities and you continue your usual activities, and after each activity, whether it is at work or besides work, you assess how good you feel, and you assess especially if you feel excited and recharged, or if you feel completely drained. So you're going to number that from 1 to 10, 1 being the most draining activity that you can think of. So you do it, and after that, check how you feel, and if you feel really drained and you couldn't feel more drained, it is 1. And at the opposite, 10 would be the most recharging activity, the most fulfilling activity, the most recharging and exciting activity. And there can even be this bubbling quality to it, like this is expensive, this is opening your field of possibilities, like this bubbling quality. It can be something quieter as well. It can be very exciting or a little bit quieter, but there is still this feeling of expansion that is very present, and that would be, if it's really strong, that would be a 10. So I suggest you scale your activities from 1 to 10, and you keep track on that. And so let me know how it goes, and thank you for listening.